Any day above ground is a good day. If you woke up today on the right side of the dirt, then you should thank your lucky stars because you know why? You got a chance. Yeah, you got a chance to do something great. And good is the enemy of great. Just keep waking up, keep putting one foot in front of the other. I'm saying this because I'm celebrating my birthday, cousins. Yes, I have been 60 trips around the sun. And it's a beautiful thing to be able to just wake up and have one more day. Because there is going to come a time in every one of our lives where you're going to bam, hit that wall. And when you do, it's going to seem like the world is against you. Well, you know what? Everyone can have a bad day. And I'm going to tell you, all of us can have a bad week, but you should never have 4 bad weeks in a row with no adjustments. You got to do something to change course and just course correct. And if you can, you will find yourself hitting your second wind. Do you know what that really means? Well, if you don't, I say, well, come on, cousins, and let's pod about it.
In a world fraught with confusion, one man will break his silence.
You are now tuned in to the funkiest show this side of the Pecos. Welcome, everybody, one and all, to another episode of Word to the Wise with the exclamation point. Who, me? I'm just your friendly neighborhood liaison, just your tour guide for this journey that we call life. I like to refer to myself as a nobody who's just trying to tell everybody about somebody who can save anybody. And if you know who that is, then you know that God is good all the time. And I got to give it up for the people who are good to me. Yeah, I got to give it up to Pops and Fat Mama. Yes, they brought me into this world and let me know at a very, very young age. My father had a saying. He said, you might not listen to me. You may not listen to me one bit, but you're going to mind somebody. What he was trying to tell me is a hard head makes for a soft ass. That's what he used to say. Keep being hard-headed. Keep thinking that I don't got to listen to nobody. Well, you're going to get yourself in a situation where you have to listen. To all my young listeners and viewers out there, no one had life figured out at 18 or 19. And I know that 21, they consider you to be an adult. There's still a lot to learn. There's still a lot to learn, even though you have gotten out of your teens. 20s, it's a brand new world. I mean, you start feeling yourself or smelling your piss, as they so-called call it. Yeah, well, you start being a little bit more rambunctious and a little bit more gung-ho. And you have this, I can take on the world. You're young. Go out, conquer, do whatever it is that you want to do, but just keep it safe and sane. But when those 20s start to fade away, see, in my 20s, I was very, very hard-headed, and I got a life that it's eclectic. I got an eclectic background with a bunch of jobs and stuff that I did. I may have some things that I should have done, and I know some things I should not have done. A lot of that happened during my 20s. What happens when that 20s turn into 30s? And you start to see that the world is very, very different now. Well, the world may be the same, just the way that you view it, it is different. It's just the way that you see things. You get less and less patience with people who don't really have your best interest at mind. You ain't got no time for games anymore early in your 30s. By that time, many of us have become parents, and we've noticed that we got to put our life on hold a little bit just to invest in these human beings, these children, so we can get them in a place where they can be successful in life too. And a lot of us dedicate those 30s to raising up children. Some of us had children very, very early in life, well before our 20s, had children in our teens. And when that happens, boy, you get grown fast, don't you? You grow up a little bit quicker than others. I didn't have children in my teens or even in my 20s, but I did start to feel that I was a little bit more mature than a lot of my friends. I know I was out there doing a lot of dirt at a very, very young age. So when my 30s came around, I was tired. I was tired, especially of that ripping and running in the streets. And a lot of people were late bloomers, just now getting out there. I think back to a story of a friend of mine who graduated from college, got his degree, got out, and then when they got out of college, they decide they want to start living the street life. Instead of going on to bigger and greater things, they want to relive a past they didn't have a time to be able to get involved with. Got involved in drugs and gangs and wound up getting used that person, and they wound up going to prison instead of going into corporate America. Why late bloomers? I also say that when you are hitting that 30s, you've gotten to that lifestyle where life just has a better perspective to it. You're supposed to be getting savings and getting a job and investing in some 401k early in life. Because if you don't start when you're in your 30s, by the time you hit my age in the 60s, you could have had 30 years invested in something. Start putting away for that summer because winter is coming. Yeah, it'll hit you hard, especially in your 40s. But sometimes when we get to that 40s, we get to a midlife crisis. You figure out, well, I can't ask myself what I want to be when I grow up anymore. Whatever I am now, I guess that's what I'm going to be. Don't you know life isn't over at 40 by any stretch of the imagination. But it's at those 40s sometimes where we start to get stagnant. We start to just get in a rut. And some of us enjoy a good rut. You can stay there 10 years. In your entire 40s, still trying to figure life out. But life has a way of just sneaking up on you and slapping you right across your face. And that will happen in your 40s. I mean that a person who has gotten to the age where they're at their 45, 46, 47 and start seeing that 50 right around the corner, the big 50. That is the point where some people will hit their second win. Yes, it is. I want to read it to you because I like to be able to just ad lib. I'm able to digest written information a lot, but I really love what they have written here. It may be better than I can say it. A second wind refers to a certain burst of energy and renewed ability to continue after a physical period of mental exertion. Means you have gotten tired in your head, your brain. Some of us have worked a lot of jobs, physical labor. I have worked a lot of jobs that was physical. And I'm going to tell you right now, some jobs where you have to just use brain power every single day, you come home just as tired. Especially when you hit your 40s or you in your late 30s and you are working in an office or working in a cubicle or working in corporate America, and you're out there trying to use the knowledge and the wisdom that you have accrued. Maybe even use your degree. Hopefully you have a job in the field that you studied, and man, you come home tired in your head. When that happens, you know that you're about to hit that wall, because it is a temporary resurgence of strength and motivation. There's a physical context to it. Physical activities like running or exercise. You can also have a second wind there where you got tired, and all of a sudden the tiredness, it just dissipated. Yes, I love a book called You Can't Hurt Me, and about a gentleman, David Goggins, and he became a Navy SEAL, and he once ran, I believe, for 24 hours, and he was in competitions, and he pushed his mental and his physical body to the extreme, past that limit of being tired. Tired had nothing to do with it. And he would hit a second wind. I would love to talk to Goggins one day and ask him, is there such a thing as a third? Because I've never been able to hit it. I've hit that second wind. The second wind that I'm talking about, it happens in life. And sometimes when you start questioning your own mortality, and you get to this that crossroad where you have to make a decision. Who am I going to be? What am I going to be? Because see, I may not be what I should be. I may never be what I could be, but every day I thank God Almighty that I ain't what I was. I have transcended. I have moved up and moved beyond. And everybody's not going to be rooting for you either once you hit that second wind. And once you see what you can be. And some of us got a late start in life. Some of us, like me, squandered a lot of their youth because I grew up troubled. Yes, I grew up smoking cigarettes at 12 years old. I used to light my mother's cigarettes on the stove on the eye and get me a couple puffs and run it back to my mom in the bedroom. I started drinking at a very, very young age too, by 13. By the time I was 14, I was selling little marijuana joints at the bus stop. I'm 14. Yeah, so by the time that I got to high school, I was a salty vet of the street life. And it just didn't impress me in my 30s if somebody still out there want to run the streets. It didn't impress me in my 30s. Why? Because I'm already been put in 15 years of this garbage. Yes, I called it garbage. Why I feel? Because the homies, they really don't have your back. When you're in that courtroom and that judge is handing out years like Halloween candy, and you turn around and you look at the rows behind you, how many of your homies you see over there? You may see your parents, your siblings. You may find one friend, but all those people you've been kicking it with and running streets with, they will not be there for you. You got to do your own time. You got to do your dirt on your lonely and do your own time by yourself. So I didn't find myself in that situation, but I did get wise. And I saw how it was supposed to be. It was supposed to be to where we were supposed to raise children and want for them more than what we had in our lives. So we spoiled them. Our parents didn't have the money to spoil us. Yes, I remember my parents telling us, don't you go in this store, don't you ask for nothing, because you ain't getting nothing. Most of the time, they would drop us off at home and then go to the store. Yeah, but nowadays, my kids, I spoil them and I spoil my granddaughter even more. Why? Because I have more than what my parents have, being the son of a sharecropper. The son of a gourmet Italian chef. 40 years my father worked. The grandson of a sharecropper. People act like, oh, that's a long time ago. That's racism. It ain't that long time ago. No, it is not. They did not have the means and the financial extras beyond the necessities. I'm talking about disposable income, to where we got a little bit more, so we did more. I think we did too much when we hit our 50s, because there's a generation of people who feel like it should be handed to them. Just give it to me. If it's mine, give it to me. Why should I work for it if it's already mine? I see it. That's it, right? That's for me. That's my thank you. If you get a thank you, you better be happy about it. Wait until you hit that 50, though. The big 50 comes and it slams you right in the face. And when it does, you start thinking, I don't have cousins another 50 years. No, I do not. I don't got another 50. Do you want to live to 100? Because, see, I just turned 60 myself. Do I really want to live to be 120? It's been said you are once a man and twice a child. Twice a child. So you are a child as an infant, and then when you get up into your senior twilight years, you become infantile, to where you no longer can remember things. Alzheimer's has maybe crept in, and the body behaves differently. I don't know if I want to be 120 laid up in a hospital bed connected to a machine. Got to have someone change my diaper and feed me tapioca pudding, or being fed intravenously, knowing I ain't never going back home to the house. And my family, everybody else has grown up, and maybe you outlived your own children. And now you are sitting there on that bed, and that bed is your life. And you can't get up. You can't go get a breath of fresh air. Couldn't even sit down and up in a chair, and you just have lived and you lived and you live. But is that living? When you hit 50, you realize you don't have 50 more years. So you start asking yourself, what did I do with the 50 I did have? Well, some people hit that second wind, and that's where it comes in. It is a mental context. The second wind can refer to a renewed sense of motivation or drive after feeling discouraged or defeated in a prior task. It's a sudden surge of energy. It's an enthusiasm to allow you to keep working towards your goal. You set yourself a goal and you say, you know what? I didn't get it. I didn't hit the mark, but I am not giving up. Boom, second wind. Where are you in your life right now? Because my life, I know it's a lot of things that I have tried. I've tried a lot of different things, but one thing no one will ever be able to say to me, Terry didn't try. Oh, yes, I did. Yes, I did. I gave my best effort, being one of the first rappers on the West Coast, first rapper to ever in my city. I had to explain to people what hip hop was. When I started rapping, a spoken word poet, I was out there, man. I was on the circuit. I was up and down that freeway. If they had a spot or open mic or a showcase, they know about Cat Daddy in the mix. Yes, the Dragon Slayer, the 800-pound gorilla, Cat Daddy in the mix, the beatnik, the wordsmith. They know about that name. Why? Because I was a head chopper. I would come spoken word, but I didn't like slams. I'm not going to get up there and drop a poem about my mother and how much my mom loved me and you give me a 2. No, see, that doesn't give me any artistic value. There's no such thing as good poetry and bad poetry. There's some underworked stuff. There's some stuff that maybe need a rewrite and an edit. There's some things that once you put it inside your mind and you put it off the page into the eye gate, and then you keep it in your brain, and once you regurgitate it over this microphone, it gives a therapeutic value to others that are out there hearing it, goes in their ear gate, take a place inside their heart, and you have inspired them. So that doesn't get a score. That's why I didn't like slam poetry, but I tried. Yeah, I was one of the first spoken word poets on the West Coast. Everybody was out there doing these little books, little chapbooks. I was dropping CDs, baby. Yes, I was dropping CDs on them. Hot catfish grease. So they had my music booming, but I never made it on HBO. And I tried my hand in mystery writing. Still love writing. I got books that are out there, Skeletons in the Closet. Yeah, you're only as sick as your secrets. And Skeletons in the Closet Part 2, Lost Souls for Sale. And I'm working on the third installment to just put a nice bow on that series, Skeletons in the Closet 3, She's Come Undone. Yes, so I've tried. I've done what I could to be an author and a motivational speaker. My friend, Dwight Pleasure, and I just watch how, Les Brown, I like how Les do his thing. And I got up there and I went around to schools and community centers, did whatever I could. I put my message out there, including inside the church house. I've done workshops. I've taught people how to write poetry, taught people how to have stage presence, even taught people how to formulate and write 16 bars of hip hop. Taught in workshops so people can't say I did not try. Here I am on a podcast. And I'm trying. I'm on episode 41, dropping the second win. I'm just finally starting. I feel like I have moved out of my 50s. I hit that 59 and I start contemplating, yes, my own mentality. And I start reaching out and I start doing some investigation, taking inventory of my entire life and trying to see what is it that I should have done. But my life don't have no whole bunch of regrets. I just know that I put my best foot forward. And every day that I wake up and I see that I'm on the right side of the dirt, I know that good is the enemy of great. I know I got a chance, cousin. So I'm going to do something with this chance. I'm going to live full and I may die empty. I'm going to live like, you know what? I'm going to get my ideas and my creativity and everything that is inside of me, everything that God has poured into me, because I have been in situations to where I did not think of that. It came to me like a poem that I wrote for my mother. It's called When I Come Home. When I Come Home, it was a poem that I wrote when my mother passed. That's why I know there's such a thing called a divine intervention. I got the word that my mother died. And I was living alone, had my own little apartment and everything, working at the railroad, good job. And I hung up the phone when they told me, yeah, she's gone. I hung up the phone, and the first thing I wanted to do was grab the phone and call the most important person in my world, which was my mother, to tell her, Mama's gone, but Mama ain't gonna answer the phone anymore. Boom, it hit me, it cascaded down on me, and it just had me just about to shake, and my knees were knocking in. I didn't have any strength. I was most vulnerable. I was laid prostrate on the ground in the hallway of my apartment, and I was just crying, and tears were just flooding down my face, and all of a sudden, boom, that poem, 5 stanzas, came into my head from beginning to end. I sat there at the computer keyboard, and I wasn't thinking about what to write. It was all I had to do, man. All I had to do was just keep writing. All I had to do was just take that keyboard, right, and just keep writing. And the words was just pouring out of me. I'm like, where is this coming from? But boy, if it wasn't the truth, it's a muse. Yes, it's having someone or something. I call it the Holy Spirit. Came down and said, here, this is your refuge. This is your healing. In these words, you will find comfort, and gave it to me as a poet. So I want to let you guys know that there's always an opportunity for you to be able to lift someone up. And I'm telling you this as a person who has been around the sun 60 times, that no one has it figured out at 10 years old. All you can think about is getting older. You just want to hit your teens. And once you hit those teens, you feel like I'm starting to know a little bit more than my parents. But the old saying is, when the mind is ready, a teacher will appear. Your mind is not ready in your teens, and nor are you grown at 21. Even though the society will consider you as an adult, those 20s relish them. You're probably at the prime of your life physically, but you don't get to the prime of your life mentally until you hit your 30s. Start seeing things real clearly. And by the time you get to your 40s, and in your 40s, you have perspective. I don't have no time and no tolerance to hang around people I can't stand. I don't need a bunch of friends. See, when you're in your teens and early 20s, friends are important. You get to 40s, you don't give a damn about a friend. If I got one or two of them, I'm lucky, because 50 is coming. And when 50 comes, we live through our children and our grandchildren. We pour into them. We try to leave some of this wisdom behind, because 60 is right there if you blink. So don't blink, cousin. Don't you blink. Hey, and if you ever have the opportunity to want to share this podcast, please do. You can find it right here on all these channels that you see. And you can also see me on these channels that are scrolling right down here below. You can find me on YouTube. That is my main channel, at The T Patrick on YouTube. And all you got to do is just go to Google and put in Word to the Wise podcast with Terry Patrick, and you will see all of these channels pop up. And if you would like to be a first cousin, I appreciate any love offering that you would love to be able to send. You can catch me on Zelle, on Cash App, and on Venmo. I am looking forward to becoming a content creator with the affiliate shop, where they just announced that I on TikTok can start selling stuff. They're going to start sending me some free stuff. It's a beautiful thing, but I am still looking for a sponsor for my podcast. I'm still trying. Yes, I am. So while I'm here, I want you guys to check out my previous episode called Love versus Hate. Oh my goodness. It's a powerful one. Check out Love versus Hate on all those channels. And hey, listen up, cousins. When you guys see me around and you see me doing my thing, I want you to know I'm out here. And I'm like Tarzan. Yeah, why? Because it's a jungle out here. But keep living. Every day above ground is a good day to do something great. Good is the enemy of great. Don't you dare settle for mediocrity, and don't live your life with regrets. It's okay. Everybody's going to make mistakes, and everybody can have a bad day. But remember, I said this. Don't you have 4 bad days in a week. 4 weeks in a row with no adjustment. Do something about it. All right, cousins? Love, peace, and high catfish grease. Peace, y'all.
I hope you like the podcast and you really like the podcast.
Come on, be serious.
And you really like my podcast. Like and subscribe.